So you want to have more colors on your aloes and aloe hybrids from this to this in the least amount of time as much as possible. Let me show you how. Hey guys, Stephen here. This is Guinsoo Studio, and for today's episode, we're gonna try to have more colors in our aloes. And one thing to take note in them is you wanna stress them out. Number one would be exposing them in lots amount of light. Now, aloes are sun-loving plants. They really love the sun. And what this does to these aloes is that it tries to expose these brilliant colors, the reds, the pinks, the blues in them, since the sun exposure tries to bring out the anthocyanin pigments in them. Now, these anthocyanin pigments are basically protective measures of aloes from extreme sun exposure. For instance, this aloe perlevorient, it has this pink pigments to it. Another protective measure for aloes is that they could also produce the so-called farina in times of extreme heat or cold, such as this aloe TCT blue shard. One example is that this aloe was grown in shade a week ago, and upon full sun exposure, after 7 days, boom, we're having these pink pigments. This red also of this aloe TCT hybrid is due to the anthocyanin pigments. Now remember that anthocyanin pigments is inherited genetically, and not all aloes have these characteristics. They must be hybridized and must be inherited from parents' seedlings so that they could exhibit these pigments. Now, what about for aloes that are inherently green? Full sun exposure makes them more curly for these Castiglione series. Another is this pure Casti species. Full sun exposure gives them the reddish color, and it makes the colors in their spines more vibrant, and it makes their leaves also more curly. Now, what I do for my aloes that are newly planted, I just place them under my rack. I want them to acclimatize first before I do full sun exposure in them because it might cause sunburns. So yeah, that's rule number one, guys. If you want to grow colorful aloes, you have to expose it in more sun. Next would be the soil mix. Now, this goes hand in hand with watering schedule also. Now, one thing to take note for the soil mix of aloes is that it should be gritty. And that's why I use 2 sizes of pumice, and I also use a carbonized rice hull and vermicast as fertilizer and a soil conditioner. For the pumice, I use 30% of the pumice corn size and 30% the pumice mung bean size. And I also add 15% carbonized rice hull and 15% vermicast. Now, what this does is that if you have a very gritty soil mix and a well-draining one, it keeps the roots of the aloes more breathable, and it allows them to be more stressed than usual. Also, one thing to take note is that when you pot your aloes, if you want to have more colors, go for smaller pots. Because smaller pots means less water retention, means colorful aloes. But if you want to grow them big, you can use bigger pots, such as the Castiglione series. They really do appreciate bigger pots. Now, as for my aloes, I'm using this 4-inch diameter pot. And for my smaller aloes, I use the 3-inch size pots. Now, don't forget to use pots with good drainage holes, guys, as it promotes air circulation in the roots of our aloes. And as for me, personally, I use black pots. But the ideal pot for aloes is white pots, as it keeps the roots cool. But black pots did just fine, and the results were pretty satisfactory for my part. So it's up to you guys. I think that's basically it for growing colorful aloes and aloe hybrids. So just follow these guide and assure you colorful aloes within a week's time. Just take note that before making any stressing methods, make sure your aloe is mature and stable, guys. And anyways, that's it for making colorful aloes. Hope this video helps. If it does, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell. And as always, see you on the next video. Peace.